Nesmith. The Pacers with a chance to win it. Final seconds, no fouls to give. Haliburton looking. Haliburton driving, pulls up, jump shot. It's good! It's good! With 0.3 of a second remaining. Timeout, OKC. Tyrese Haliburton does it again.
What's up, everyone, and welcome in to your Celtics source. Well, we got the game that, I think we were all sort of expecting. OKC just absolutely dominates, winning 123-107. It came from bench production. It came from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander having a extremely efficient night. And, the Pacers cut back on their turnovers, but the Thunder found a way to execute on transition baskets. They made their shots. They pretty much dominated all assets of the game, I would say. But, we'll start with, I guess, Shai's night, right? Shai had he scored less than, right, he did in game one, like just 34 points. But the 11 for 21 on field goals was a much more efficient number than the 30 shots he took in game one just to score 38 points, right? He was dominating throughout the entire game, from just making plays for others early in the game, right? He was really early in the game, he wasn't looking to score. He was actually getting his teammates involved, which is one of the things I actually pointed out before the game, saying, he needed to be a little bit less heliocentric and find a way to get his teammates involved, and he did just that because we had some elite production off the bench, and we got guys like Jalen Williams and Chet Holmgren getting points in an efficient manner. Right, 6 of 11 for Chet Holmgren and 5 of 14, which is still not great on field goals, but at least it was throughout the game. It wasn't just late in the stretch late in the game when you needed a basket. Right, he got in a rhythm throughout the game, and while he missed shots, it wasn't like they were all central in that one sort of moment in the game where you needed a basket. So it was evenly spaced out. But as for his night, Shai's night specifically, right, in terms of his production, the Pacers did a awful job of keeping him off the line, right? 11 free throws, 12 free throw attempts, 11 made free throws. They were fouling him like crazy. They just could not stop him tonight, right? And he didn't have the same number of shots, but it didn't matter because he scored almost the same amount of points, and he did it just, getting his way to the line. It was really an undisciplined Pacer defense tonight, I thought. They tried to sort of let him, get shots, and then they realized, he was just too efficient. They needed to hack him, and so they didn't have a choice really in the end. They would bump him, they would hold his arms down, and he would just he didn't make the shots because they purposely, it felt like late in the game, when this game was starting to pull away for good, the Pacers had just given up. They were just fully hacking his arms, not even letting him score the ball. But I thought a huge contribution in this game actually came from Alex Caruso, because Shai, right, he brought all the attention to him, and because tonight he was sharing the ball and sort of passing the ball up to get the ball back, it allowed Alex Caruso, who is mainly just a defensive guy, right? He comes off the bench and just, I don't know, he scores 20 points on, 6 of 11 shooting, 4 of 8 from 3. So he knocked down some big threes for the Thunder. Just 3 rebounds, 1 assist, and obviously he brought the defense as well, specifically on Tyrese Haliburton and guys like Nembhard and Nesmith, some of the smaller guards. He did an excellent job because, in this third quarter, right, it was sitting around a 15-point lead or something for between 15 and 20 for a good, I would say, 7-8 minutes. And his ability to sort of lock down Nembhard, lock down Nesmith, and not let them get on a roll like they did in game one allowed the Thunder to just sort of pull away. And obviously, the score is much closer than it was on the end, but obviously there was 2 or 3 minutes of garbage time here. Indiana actually outscored the Pacers, or Indiana outscored the Thunder in the final quarter, 33-30. Actually, looking at the box score now, they only apparently outscored the Pacers by just 1 point in the third as well. So most of those points came in that second quarter where the Pacers were just out of sorts on offense. They were throwing the ball away. They were, it wasn't as egregious as some of the plays they made in game one, but they were live ball turnovers, right? And both these teams, they actually absolutely destroy, right? Both the Pacers and the Thunder destroy teams on live ball turnovers, right? And the Pacers, they did a great job of limiting the points scored off of turnovers. A lot of the times because they were turnovers that were like thrown out of bounds or sort of backcourt violations where the clock stops and you inbound the ball, reset it. Right, these turnovers tonight were all live, all fast break, just easy points for the Thunder, which is why this game got out of hand so quickly. I want to talk about Pascal Siakam, right? Pascal Siakam, Tyrese Haliburton, another terrible game. But Pascal Siakam, he didn't help because Tyrese Haliburton, again, the Thunder's game plan, take him out of the game. There's not much you can do if you're Tyrese Haliburton. Like, people want to blame it on Tyrese Haliburton. Like, I don't know what you do when you are being doubled, when you are not even being allowed to grab the ball or bring the ball up, right? Being pressed full court. Like, there's not much scheming you can do. Like, if they don't want you to have the ball, other guys have to make shots around you. And the Pacers just didn't do that tonight, right? And it wasn't even like they shot poorly, but the Thunder matched them in terms of their shooting percentages. They got 10, 11 more free throws than them, and you got another horrific shooting performance from Tyrese Haliburton. 3 of 11, right? You're going to take just 11 shots in a game where Tyrese Haliburton can't do anything. You have to be the guy that steps up, right? And I don't even care that he only made 3 of the 11. You have to take more than 11 shots. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, you can be super inefficient, but you have to at least try and help him out. And it just didn't feel like that. It felt like he was being passive. He wasn't trying to bully his way down back. Some of those smaller guards for OKC. It felt like he was just sort of trying to shoot over the top fadeaway shots, and he wasn't getting the bounce tonight, right? Like, most of the time, you're not getting the bounce on those crazy shots. For some reason, Indiana's had some sort of, elite clutch shooting, elite sort of luck, fortune on some of these bounces that they get. But, they came back down to earth tonight. But, he did get 7 rebounds, 4 assists, but, he was a minus 15 on the court in his 30 minutes. So, he plays, or he doesn't even play that much compared to some of the other guys on the team. But just the inefficiency, the lack of sort of energy or aggressiveness really didn't help this team out. Aaron Nesmith, or not Aaron Nesmith, Miles Turner, Obi Toppin, right? Just 1 of 4, 1 of 5, so 2 of 9 collectively, right? So they didn't bring the elite shooting that they brought in game one, right? You got a sort of a mixed bag from them, which it makes sense, right? Your role players don't always show up on the road. That's sort of why home court advantage historically has been so important. Obviously, the Pacers have been elite on the road this year. But those two players, right? They were such a critical tandem in that game one sort of comeback. They were pretty quiet in this one. Didn't really attempt that many shots. as I had said. TJ McConnell, just 11 points, 5 of 7, right? And sort of a pretty even scoring, but once again, right, all the players for the Pacers are in double digits, or starters at least. But it wasn't enough, right? Pretty low numbers, right? 15 for Siakam, 14 for Neesmith, 16 for Turner, but 1 of 5 from 3. Andrew Nimhart, 11, and Tyrese Haliburton, 17, obviously. But you don't get the same production that you got from the bench in Game 1. You sort of, none of the stars, right? You double Tyrese Haliburton's score and Pascal Siakam's scoring numbers, and it doesn't even match SGA. So SGA has outdueled both of your players, and that just, you just can't have that big of a difference between two players versus one, right? This is a game where, in order for the Pacers to win this series, and obviously it's just one game, but in order for this Pacers to have a chance in this series, you had to have, basically, if we knew Shai was going to be the best player on the court at all times, but you had to have Pascal Siakam and Tyrese Haliburton be the second and third best players on the court, and then have J-Dub below that, right? You had to have the second and third players to even have a chance in this series, and that definitely was not the case tonight, right? Jalen Williams got into a groove, Chet Holmgren, right? I would say the Thunder had the 3 best players on the court, with Siakam and Haliburton behind that at 4 and 5. So that just, you have no chance of winning a game like that, especially when the Thunder are scoring their easy points off of turnovers. But yeah, I'm gonna keep this short. The Pacers. This is a much. I didn't think it was gonna be that big of a lead. I actually thought the Pacers would keep it closer than they did in this game. This was a pretty decent blowout for from the second quarter on, I would say. You didn't really give much effort in the second half. It felt like it was a lot of giving up on some of the plays, just letting. I'm surprised this lead didn't even grow more. But it just felt like they'd given up, move on to the next one sort of game. And, I don't know. I don't think they would have won this game even if they kept going the way they were playing. But, you need all the wins you can get against this team, all the points. So, who knows? Game 3 is Wednesday back in Indiana. Maybe Larry Bird will show up in the building, give them some momentum. But, the Pacers are looking for a bounce back, and they got to figure out a way to get Tyrese Haliburton involved. It's just a problem. I originally was just going to do a Celtics podcast episode tomorrow night at, around 7 or 8. I don't know the exact time. But I actually have decided that I'm going to go back and sort of watch this game again, look at some film, and try and figure out just exactly what went wrong for the Pacers in this game, right? I'm just doing it off of the eye test and for my live reaction, but obviously when I go back, I can figure out exactly what they did wrong and see if there's anything that they can change, because, based on a performance like this, I don't know, the Thunder might just run away with it. But who knows? But yeah, I'm going to wrap it up here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, follow on social media. Obviously, like I just said, we'll be back tomorrow night for the podcast episode, and probably tomorrow around 12 p.m. Eastern, sometime like that, with the much deeper dive into this game alone and some of the specifics. But yeah, until next time, go Celtics and go Pacers. See if they can find a way to make this a series again. I know it's just 1-1, but it just seems like the Thunder
jumper off the mark, won't go. Rebound Neesmith. Pacers with a chance to win it. Final seconds, no fouls to give. Haliburton looking. Haliburton driving, pulls up, jump shot. It's good! It's good! With 0.3 of a second remaining. Timeout, OKC. Tyrese Haliburton does it again.